Colin, I believe you were a fan of the movies. Were you watching the Harry Potter movies? Were you watching them thinking, God, I'd love to be in one of these ones?
I truly was, man. Yeah, no, I truly was, because you know, it's seldom that something comes around in a lifetime. It is very rare. It's like, you know, it's on a level for importance in a person's, even honestly, growth as a human being from child to adult, as Star Wars was for me. And this is that, I think, and just how beautiful and how imaginative and how exciting the worlds were, and how brilliant each character was within the worlds of the Harry Potter films. I was always pissed off I never got a phone call. So then when I heard that J.K. had written an original screenplay for this and there was a chance I was going to get to be in it, I was really excited. I really was.
What did you think of the screenplay when you read it?
Oh, it was magic. It was cool. It just dropped me into a particular time and place, as the Potter films did, as an audience member as well, and took me on a really memorable ride.
There are beautiful themes in her story.
Yeah.
Whether it's the relationship about friendship or belonging or not belonging.
Yeah.
What themes did you see there?
No, exactly those things, and I think that's why the original Potter films and books worked as well as they did, and you know, drew such a large and affected audience in the way that they did, and resonated with people on such a deep level, was because of the character work. Yeah, the world and the accoutrement of the world of magic and wizards was very exciting, and Hogwarts was a beautiful place for stories to inhabit. But if you didn't care about the characters within her films, if you didn't care about the dynamics between the relationships, I don't think the films would have lasted and had the effect that they do. And similar thing with Fantastic Beasts. If you don't care about Newt Scamander, if you don't care about Queenie, if you don't care about Credence, you know, the film doesn't work. And I think that's what she does so extraordinarily, is she understands what it is to be an outsider. She understands what it is to not be included in the human experience somehow. She understands the danger of oppression and the danger of intolerance, and all these themes are themes that are explored within the beauty and the light and the humour of the world that's presented here.
And what's Percival Graves' role in that wizarding world?
His role literally is he's the head of magical security of MACUSA, which is the Magical Congress of the United States of America, which is kind of a social and political body at the center of the wizarding experience in North America. And his job is to uphold the safety of the wizarding community. There's been a certain degree of persecution that the wizarding community has been inflicted with by the world of no-mages. What were muggles in the original films, we call no-mages those who have no magical capabilities. And there's been a segregation between the world of no-mages and the world of wizards. So my job is to uphold the segregation, even though I have a disdain for it, because it's meant that the world of wizards have had to live in the shadows, and they've been oppressed. But he's a character with a very particular philosophy and a very particular ideology and a very particular purpose. And it was fun navigating that with David and exploring that.
He's not really a villain. He's more like a strong character with a job to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't see him as a villain. I mean, I know he's a little bit arch and all that kind of stuff, and you know, maybe villainous. But I didn't see him as a villain. Didn't see him as a bad guy. As I said, somebody who had lived under the weight and the shame of having to protect a people from the treachery of a people that he saw as less than. You know, if there should be, you know, one pocket of existence that's living in the shadows as far as Graves is concerned, it should be just mere mortals. It shouldn't be wizards. They have had to hide and suppress this beautiful gift that they have, and he thinks that there's a great sadness and sense of loss in that. And
he has an interest in you, right? They cross paths a couple of times.
With Newt?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They have. Yeah, they meet early on in the story, and then the story does bring them back together a couple of times. Yeah.
You've worked with many great actors in your career. What can you say about Eddie?
Eddie's fantastic. Eddie's an extraordinary actor, you know, and he's been around a while, you know, longer than I think the majority of people would think or know, and he's worked so hard for so many years, and he's had an amazing he's entered an amazing chapter in his career, which I hope continues till the end of his days, or till he decides to walk from it. And he's an extraordinary actor and incredibly gifted and works his arse off, and pleasure to work with.
Without giving away too much, your character has an interesting relationship with Credence, and I thought Ezra also gave an extraordinary performance.
Yeah, he's lovely in it, isn't he? Yeah, great young actor, Ezra. I thoroughly enjoyed working with him. We had 2 or 3. I mean, I think for me, in many ways, you know, Ezra is almost kind of the beating heart or the conscience of the film, or maybe the pain of the film. You know, through him, it's a very emotional performance, and Ezra dug really deep, you know, to bring to life Credence in the way that he did, and it was great to be part of that too.
What can you say about David as a director?
He's extraordinary. He's he's obviously kind of the keeper of the, the keeper of the gate. The protector of the universe in a way. JK's universe, and she must trust him implicitly. To bring her written word and her imagination to cinematic life. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of this world and the backstory of this world, but at the same time, he's not so worried about the magic and the wizarding of it all. He's constantly trying to bring it back to the human element. He's constantly going, okay, let's forget about the magic for a minute. Let's forget about wizards, and he's like bring it back down to the human element, because he understands, of course, as we've spoken about, unless the audience has a relationship or a compassion for the characters and cares about the characters, then it doesn't matter how many bells and whistles or how much special effects are at hand. The film isn't going to have the effect or grip the audience in the way that someone like David Yates really wants to connect to the audience, But he's so clever. He's so kind. Amazing. The crew would do anything for him. Amazing to work with.
Speaking of the magic, you have to tell us, what was it like to have that wand in your hand?
It's fun, man. I mean, as I said, it was a bit ridiculous because nothing's happening, but it's all put in after the fact. But it was fun. No, it was really, really fun. It really was to just to not just accept, but to dive into the conventions of this world, and you do things enough, they become normal. The bizarre becomes commonplace.
And I believe the sets you walked into
extraordinary. Yeah, extraordinary, breathtaking. I mean, the level of detail and craft, both in the design and then the realization and bringing to life the designs were astonishing. And I didn't have much work to do with special effects or CGI. That was mostly Eddie, having to work with imaginary beasts that weren't quite there yet. Most of my stuff was practical sets and working with actors. And I mean, they built 2 or 3 blocks of Midtown Manhattan with a tram system and 20 or 30 Ford Model Ts and 500 extras all dressed in period clothes, and they'd shout action and all that would start moving at the same time. It was phenomenal.
Must have been special to go back in an era like that in the 20s in New York.
Yeah, it was fun. It was beautiful. Yeah, it was really beautiful, really provocative to be around. You felt like you were stepping back into the, the silver age of film.
And then when you finally saw the whole movie completed on the big screen, what was your reaction, Colin?
That it was beautiful. As soon as I heard the theme music at the start with the Warner Brothers sign, I just got carried away. I'm soft that way.
What is it about these stories, JK's imagination, that have resonated so well all over the world with audiences of all ages?
Yeah, it defines any particular cultural markings. I think there is, I believe, a universality to our human experience, and there are, in greater or lesser degrees or different combinations, we all experience the same things, the same hopes, the same fears, the same trepidations. We've all been children and struggled as children and struggled to try and figure out who we are as adults, or who we're becoming, or who we wish to be, and those themes are explored in the film. And then at the end of the day as well, there's just so much magic, and there's so much beauty, and there's so much mischief at play in JK's imagination, and thereby in the stories that she tells, that I think it's just, they're kind of irresistible.
Hey, did you know that Walt Disney refused to allow Alfred Hitchcock to film at Disney in the early 1960s because he made that disgusting movie Psycho? For this and more movie facts, click on more videos or click on the playlist for more trailers.